Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gon' rise to the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
My bite's not close to my bark, buddy. And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement if they're watching and you guys would like to come back. Of her being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
To hear this, but let me put this out here. Stop sparing folks. Hello, somebody. Stop sparing folks. Nobody cared when your feelings was hurt. Nobody cared when you was pacing the floor. Nobody cared when you was sliding down the wall. Nobody cared when you was standing over there with a face full of tears. You had to suck it up, buttercup. But then when it come to other folk feelings, here you are. Want to tiptoe around it. Want to avoid the elephant in the room. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to disturb the peace. Stop sparing folk. Ain't nobody spare you when it was your turn. Give it to them real. Give it to them raw. Give it to them uncut and uncensored. This is exactly what it is. This where you had me messed up at. Huh. Yeah. I ain't playing with nobody this season, baby.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube and Twitter. Happy Manic Monday. What are we doing? What are we doing? It is up entirely too early on a Manic Monday. Today is Monday, November 13th, and many of you know today is not the best day for many of us, but we're going to try to at least enlighten some people, bring the temperature up to a happy for just a little bit before we go right on into what today truly represents, to us, to the people of true crime, to the people that have been watching the story all over. We're just going to give our praise to the families today. We're going to pray for strength, protection, guidance, and patience. We're going to ask that our audience keep all of these families, all of their friends, all the people that love them that they never even met, keep all of them in your prayers today. Today is November 13th. Many of you know today marks the 1-year milestone of a horrific event that cost 4 beautiful souls their life, and it happened almost 2 short hours ago. As we were clocking through 4 a.m. this morning, between 4 a.m. and 4:20, 1 year ago today, the lives were lost of Kaylee Goncalves, Maddie Mogan, Xander Knodel, and Ethan Chapin. And today is going to be very sad in many of our minds and souls, but we are going to try to remember that they loved life, that they were vibrant, that they were seeking everything, right? The world was their oyster, and that was snuffed short. It was snuffed short. So like I said, before we get on, we're going to lighten up the mood a little bit because we know we have a long day today. We know we have a long day today. So before we get started on our special, we're just going to take a few minutes to say good morning to everyone. As we normally do, we're going to read the language of letting go, give ourselves over to a higher power. And we are going to go over our membership levels. We have a winner chicken dinner this beautiful Monday. I know despite this Monday being an awful day for many of us, somebody is getting a Bullhorn Betty shirt or hat. So stay tuned for that. Good morning, Mac J, Pen 1010. It's nice to see you. Sheila, good morning. Skittles Crime, nice to see you. JB's mom. And look at the message. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate that. I really do. Tip it back. It's nice to see you. The real me too. Good morning. Good morning. Devil Doll, it's nice to have you. Sonia, good morning. I thought I missed somebody. I think it was Michelle. Good morning, Michelle. I have a habit. My fingers are just rolling on through this morning, rolling on through. So good morning. If I missed any of you, I'm trying to roll down because I know some of you guys, November Rain, good morning. It's nice to see you. Van Lady, good morning. Jody, it's always nice to have a Crime Stories Obsessed. Hi, my beautiful Emma. I hope you are doing super, super well. I did finally get, what was that WhatsApp downloaded. I swear. So I got to get set up. But once I do, I know it's been months. I'm sorry. I'm horrible. You don't even want to know, right? Life has happened. That's all I can say is life has happened. I'm sure you understand. I hope you're doing well. I remember the last time we spoke, you were not doing, you going through some stuff. So we want to pray for you as well. Good morning, Darla. It's nice to see you. Where else do we have? We have Wolf, FG Teve. I don't say that, so I'm just going to call you Wolf. It's nice to see you, Wolf. It's nice to see you. You were in church with us. I hope you enjoyed it. And for those that are here, we don't have a whole lot of people because we're just getting back into this time zone after being out for, I think, like 6 months. We've been all over the place with our show. But how many of you guys go to church with us on Sunday? I just want to know how many of you, I know who goes to church. Let me ask you this. Had you gone to church prior to us doing it virtually here? Have we brought people that may have been out of church? If you've been out of church and haven't gone until you came over to this channel, or, maybe, you've just been busy and maybe you've moved and you just haven't had time. I didn't move. I've been here my whole life, but I haven't had time to look for a new church. When I moved from one side of the county over to this side of the county, it made it way entirely too difficult to see my other church. So it was just easier not to go because I didn't want to find another church, not the same people, not the same friends, not the same music. And then I came over here and I started thinking, I really wanted to get into do something that, because we're about empowering people. It's not just we do so much more than true crime on the Bullhorn Betty channel. And it's just one of those things where I just felt. So if you guys, if we were able to bring you, if this channel was able to bring you back into the church after not being there for a while, put a 1 in the chat. I'm just curious. I'm just curious because I never really thought of it as me affecting change or, testifying and stuff like that. And the more and more that we do this, the more and more I'm realizing that, we are very powerful here and we like to take that power and do great things with it. So it just helps me. It just helps me understand. Lutens, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Anybody else in here that I missed? West Virginia Holler Girl. It's nice to see you. Well, good morning. Good morning. Mama Bear 10, good morning. She's screaming from the rooftops. Good morning from the Bullhorn, right? Oh, that's nice. Awesome. Thank you for being the newest member. Thank you for being the newest member. For everybody else that I missed, just good, big blanket. Good morning. We're going to read the language of letting go, and then we're going to get into our membership. Actually, we'll do the membership levels first. I have to tell you, it was tough. What did I do with it? It was tough adding these up. It really was. We almost had a tie. We were literally one vote from a tie. One vote from a tie. And I've never done a tie on here before. Obsessed with true crime. It's nice to see you. Shannon, sorry. Good morning. It was almost a tie. But there was one, just one more vote. Who's ready? If you're ready, I don't know, put the prayer hands up, right? We got a lot of prayers that need to go around anyways. Might as well get a start. If you guys are ready to find out who the winner chicken dinner is, put some prayer hands up. I'm going to give you 20 seconds while I sit here and drink. Yeah, it doesn't have the funny stuff in it. I don't like this coffee this morning. Don't like it at all. All right. I pity you guys. I'll tell you. Okay. I'll tell you. It was number one. It was the very first one we got. You guys seem to like it the best. Light roast, medium roast, dark roast, and espresso. So I don't know the screen name of the person that submitted that, but I do have their name. It's Terry H. Terry H. I don't know your screen name, so you know that you sent that in. Get with Sonia. Reach out to Sonia somehow. She can drop her Facebook, her shirt thing, because she needs to sell some shirts anyways. She needs to sell shirts, okay? I'm just joking. Go over there and get all your shirts now. We want all the shirts going to her. But no, seriously, get with her. She's got the shirts. You can do a shirt. You can do a hat. I've got to be honest with you. I didn't know, I love the coffee shirt that they gave me. I that is personally my favorite. I love that shirt. And then I found out that she's got, what was it, Sonia? Be a Betty. Be a Betty shirt. I'd love to see you out there. Hey, ex-sailor, nice to see you, love bug. So I just get with her. She'll take care of you, and then she'll let me know whether you get a shirt or a hat, and I'll send her some money and get that all taken care of. So thank you. We're officially changing our names. Our level names are not going to be bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, okay? You're getting away from that. Our new names will actually be light roast, medium roast, dark roast, and espresso. Right? So thank you all who participated. And enjoy. Did you like that? She needs to sell shirts. Just buy shirts. The worst commercial ever. The worst commercial ever. Good Lord. Don't hire me, Sonia. Don't hire me to be on your marketing campaign. I'm really terrible at it. Just go buy some shirts. All right, I'm done. I'm having too much fun over here. I'm having too much fun. And on a serious note, Christmas is coming up. Get with Sonia. If you guys want a custom shirt, you want your face on there, you want that embarrassing photo of your husband, right? You want it plastered on a shirt so you can wear or somebody else can wear. We got office parties with gag gifts and all this other stuff. Get with Sonia, man. She's good at what she does. She's good at what she does. And she will make something that will last you for a good long time. And that'll be a memory that you can have as a keepsake, right? So we're going to get on to the language of letting go. Many of you know, if you've been coming to the Bullhorn Betty channel, we always give our morning to God. If this is not something you prescribe to, that's perfectly fine. Just please stand out for, how long is this going to take? Probably just a few moments, okay? So today's November 13th, and it's set the switches yourself. One day when I was getting ready to do a coaching skydive, my coach sat me down and gave me an exercise to do. When I skydive, he said, I go into my switch room and I set the switches where I want them to be. He explained how he has set his alertness awareness switch to about 8. If he puts it any higher, all the way up to 10, he becomes too tense and too hypervigilant. For many years, we let a lot of people push our buttons. Why don't we try setting these switches ourselves instead? Create a switch panel for yourself. Let the switches indicate the issues that you'd like to work on. You might create one switch for fear. Don't turn it all the way off. You need some fear to help guide you. Maybe set the fear switch at 2 or a level you're comfortable with. Then go to the switch that says humble and confidence. Maybe set that one on 8. Maybe set the attitude with gratitude on 9. Set the fear and then set that one to 8. Maybe then then go and have fun playing with the switch. How about cranking that up to 10? Create switches for attributes in your life that you'd like to turn up or turn down. Then from time to time, go in there and make sure the switches are all set and your circuit breakers are all turned on, right? God help me own my power. God help me own my power. That's great. Yeah, you've got to, I always talk about the power of no. I think we as people were taught that we need to be people pleasers, right? We're taught, this is what we're taught. Now, see, I was taught differently when I was going to school. I was taught to mind your own damn business, stay in your own lane, and let people live the way they want to live. The way that they're teaching people today is get in everybody's business and bully them until they comply with what you want. I will not comply, right? I will not comply. I like setting my own buttons. You know, there's a lot of things out there in this world that pushes your buttons. Like, for example, this is going back into the box. This is a good one. This one pushed my buttons. What do you do in a situation like this? This was a situation where I was dating a guy, right? Dating a guy for about 1.5 years or so, right? And you know, you have problems through those times. You have different types of problems. You know, I mean, you're there, you're with each other for, you know, some time. And you have problems. He tells you his mom comes in, she's got cancer, right? You don't even know you broke up until he comes to an event with a new woman. That's a button to push. So what situation do you do at that point? Do you just go off and start screaming at this event? Or do you just walk away? Those are buttons and controls you have, right? Those are buttons and controls that you have. So you want to set those buttons and controls, and you want to be in control of them. And I'm sure many of you guys have stories like that. I've got one about a boss. I remember a boss. I was working at, I think, a real estate office. And it seemed like no matter what I did, I just got yelled at. It's like every single problem that this particular realtor had was my problem, even though I didn't touch anything. We all have these places. So what do? Do you storm out of there and just quit your job? Or do you step back, reevaluate the situation, and get an exit strategy? You got to make those decisions for yourself, but turn your buttons on. And you never want to have fear buttons on low, too low, right? We're in true crime. You want to be, I'm sorry, I disagree with this book a little bit. I prefer to be hypervigilant, like over hypervigilant in this day and age. I don't know about any of you, but that's just me. So getting on with what we are all here for, I worked hard on this. This is a interview that I had with the Goncalves family many months ago. But now that we're here, I just thought it was going to be worth it, at least to put it back and to remind us where we came from and to remind us the genuineness of the victims in this particular case. Now, I've been having some technical difficulties here on this channel. So with that being said, if it skips, it skips. There's nothing I can do about it. Hopefully the audio and everything else comes in just fine. We'll see. We'll see. If you could let me know, I'm going to be monitoring the chat, and I'm not going to stop it. It's going to be an hour long. So you guys are here for the long haul.
Almost too much. Almost too much.
Because they knew enough to get in and out of the house undetected.
Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Dana were brutally killed in that house. Any incidences were off of here. What I find odd right now, this is where 4 slain victims attended school. Was an entry into that home, and I believe it was that bedroom. Collaborate, and we go across it and actually tamper it down. to go find that person and find out why that knife was. City of Mount Vernon, Washington, covering the case of an Idaho. Keep your eyes and ears open. God bless you.
I hope you feel better, Mommy. I want you to have a fun time with your
On trip one is that 4 people lost their lives.
something bad happened to Kaylee. Something bad happened. And, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And she's like, I think Kaylee's dead.
She had an interaction with a date.
Don't let it die.
You need to be vocal. We went and investigated Adam. Adam is about her.
Half of it, like they almost like became to us like 2 halves to a whole.
On December 28th, 2 days before the suspect was arrested, my friend Bullhorn Betty and I had the honor of meeting the Goncalves family. If you guys know anything, please contact the tip line. It's important. If you live in the area and have any... They welcomed us into their home.
I hate having her the day to death home there. So. It was a scavenger hunt. Getting frustrated, don't blow a gasket, head to the blank to get your Easter basket. She did a, yeah.
Another person who is broken by the news of Kaylee's passing is her ex-boyfriend, Jack Deor. Not only has his life been picked apart, he's been scrutinized by social media.
We did a job vetting him.
You know in your heart he had nothing to do with this.
More than, I mean, even just logically. I think that a lot of people assume we're blinded by this individual, but contrary to that, we're very capable of removing our emotions for Jack, which is absolute love, and just looking at the situation logically, looking at this individual in front of us, looking at a pattern of behaviors of him that we've seen throughout 5-6 years. So emotionally, and in our hearts and in our heads and in every sense of the word, it's
Physics.
not.
What do you remember the first time the girls met? I know you said they met each other in the 6th grade, but do you guys remember that event when they met, like when she came home and first told you about her friend
These girls
Maddie?
definitely know that. Talk about how conservative and how.
Maddie's, we had been hearing about Maddie, her new friend that she had met at her new junior high and whatnot, which was at the school they met at. And, but for Maddie to come over, her mom wanted the whole phone call and whatnot, and I wanted to meet them in person and all that. And I was very much so a little bit like, I don't know, I was just very like, sure, you can go. I mean, maybe a quick phone call, but I mean, she wanted it. Like her mom wanted to meet us, her dad wanted to meet us in person and be like, come into the house. And we were like, she wants to come into the house? Yeah.
These protocols of somebody showing up at your door 10 hours later is ridiculous.
Because we had hours of panic before sheriff department.
It was terrible.
It was about 4:30.
So you guys, they never called you. You guys found this out from family members that were in the area, and you guys didn't get notified. You actually reached out to them, and you guys still didn't get notified for hours.
He wound up calling them twice.
That's what we all wanted.
And you guys touched on something. I think we touched on it earlier at lunch. Going back to the night of the 12th, November 12th, and I think you hit, and I didn't even think of that perspective, but they did everything right.
Yeah.
And we discussed that, the buddy
It's
system. Explain all the things that they did.
Yeah, they Ubered out together. They only went to known locations that they had been before.
Private driver.
They had
So
a
we don't
private
get paid.
driver. Yeah, I apologize. There was a private driver that they had actually used before, so they knew him. They had a relationship with this
We know
individual.
him as a family member, and he really helped us.
Yeah.
He turned us on to food truck stuff.
Well, thank you for having us. We're very honored and we're very sorry for your loss. And we want to help in any way we can. And I think telling Kaylee's story is profound. And I think that's really important, humanizing her stories. What was Kaylee like as a child?
She was very rambunctious. She just was full of energy. She was the middle of 5, so 2 older, 2 younger. Olivia was the oldest, and just was constantly trying to keep up with the elders, you know, and then, you know, be a little boss hog to the littles. She was the fair police. Nothing got past her. If there was, you know, a $200 pair of shoes that she wanted when school started, and, you know, we had school clothes to buy for everybody, it was like, Kaylee, you know, you got to bring that down a little. You know, we have, you know, 5 kids to buy for. You might as well just buy them for her now, because she would just nag you to death until you just buy them, And the other kids would be like, wow, we'd be like, she was
a total hustler though.
Yeah, she
you know,
was.
where she would be like, Mom, can I, you know, mop the floors for $5? And Mom would be like, yeah, I mean, that's a super good deal. And so she kind of got this like name about herself growing up, where like she was the cleaner, right? So like Kaylee was like the one who was like she was known, where like she knew that if she, before Mom and Dad got home or whatever, you know, did the dishes, wiped the counters, swept the floors, and mopped, Dad was gonna give her 20, and she was gonna beat you to do it. And I got to the point where my brother and I didn't even try anymore, because we were just like, Kaylee's gonna do it anyway. Because she was just a hustler like that. Because even before, you know, now she was into, you know, obviously her Range Rover, she was really proud of that. You know, her designer clothes, stuff like that. That was just who she was. But it started with Claire's, with hair accessories, you know, and then it was Bath and Body Works, and she was collecting the scents and the little hand sanitizers.
Everything was a competition.
Everything was a competition, and it was.
Woke up after playing a video game with her, and she was still playing it. He's like, "I'm in trouble."
Yeah,
This girl
she
wants
had to
it
be that
more
sport.
than me.
She had to be the sport.
Yeah.
So it seems like she was driven from a very young age.
Well, she had 2 older brothers. Bryce was just right there.
Her cousin grew up very
So
close
she
with
thought
us.
she
So
could be as fast with them. She could ride the
always
bicycle.
wanted to race them. Wanted to ride the motorcycle.
We would go out on the lake with the boat. My parents had a boat. We would go out, and you know, my dad would say $5 to whoever is the first in the water for the season, right? And it was cold. It's probably about 59 degrees.
Nobody
by the time
wanted
we're
to
going
go.
out. Kaylee was.
It was $5.
It was $5. It was
Yeah.
$5, and she would do it. She would do it for $5. She jumps into that water. She instantly pops her head up and is bawling, just bawling. It was that cold. But she couldn't let the boys beat her. She couldn't let me beat her.
No.
She couldn't let anyone beat her. She was
Love
like,
that memory.
you know, it was definitely the financial motivation, as well as her just being like, I'm gonna be number one.
Yeah.
You know, there was this big pole in the lake, and you could kind of climb up it. It was a little rickety, but you could get to the top and you could jump in. I was always too scared to do it.
About 40
Kaylee
feet.
was like, she watched Steven do it, the boy, and was like, I'm gonna do that.
You
And I
can
was
do
like,
it.
Kaylee, don't do it, Kaylee, no. And she was like, I'm not scared, Olivia. You're just being a baby for being scared. And she climbed her ass up that pole, and she jumped off. And it was
Steven
tall.
rooting for her the
We
whole
have
time.
pictures of her. We have pictures
He
of
was
her.
rooting. He's like, "Don't look down," because I told the kids,
Don't
if you
look down, Kaylee.
You'll do a face plant.
It was tall.
Yeah.
What was the one where you guys were I'm trying to think you guys were hanging on the freaking.
So it was my idea. My mom she had Autumn, who's the 4th baby, and she was pregnant with Aubrey, who was the 5th. So she was upstairs taking a nap. And my dad was still at work, and you know, I was kind of just watching my little siblings. We were all just hanging out. I had an idea that we had a double garage, and it was an automatic door. And I don't know why, but I got this idea, like, that we should have a competition and see who could hold on to the garage door as it went up the longest. And then you would drop. And so we were doing this. We had like a whole setup. Like at one point, my brother was like, we need a washcloth. This is cutting my hands, right? That should have been our notion to stop, right? I should have known better. But we all got so competitive about it. So by the time my dad, drove up home.
And the kids were hanging on the garage.
That's been going nonstop for 40 minutes.
Up and down.
Oh my God. Just the little garage engine that could. And this garage door, if it had come right now, it's probably 250 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Would have crushed us.
Scared me to death.
It was the only time ever growing up that Dad actually got mad at us and like we were in trouble. And I remember Stephen and I we were upset, we were crying, we had disappointed our dad, right? We were so sad. And Kaylee just kind of wasn't. We thought that was all weird until my dad kind of like realized like him just being disappointed wasn't enough for Kaylee.
Best part about the story is when kid actually gets in trouble.
Yes. So Kaylee's clear.
Here's the truth. I whipped their asses.
Oh yeah, we got spanked. I just want to say
that.
Like,
I literally see my kids dying in front of my eyes, and I ran up and I was like,
"What are you guys doing?"
And they're like, "Yeah, it's so fun, Dad. We're gonna do it again." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You just basically give me the worst dad award ever. My kids are gonna die from a driveway."
So we go inside.
They get whippings.
Dad's mad. Stephen and I are just blubbering messes. Our dad's mad.
Kaylee's just stone-faced.
And Kaylee's just stone-faced. And we're like, this is weird.
Cry,
right?
Kaylee, cry.
My dad notices and he clicks. Something clicks with him. He goes, by the way, Kaylee, I'm not taking you to Claire's tonight. And she dropped to her knees and started bawling because for her, give her any corporal punishment. Tell her you're disappointed in her. Tell her, that was a bad move. But don't take Claire's at the time.
Not going to the mall. Not taking you to the mall.
Yeah, she wasn't going to the mall, and that was it. She had already planned her next outfit. The next day around that Claire's accessory she was gonna get. I don't know, but
she wound up getting to go.
She did. She actually did.
She did a lot of chores.
She did a lot of chores. She was like, all right, let me finagle my way out of this. What if I iron your shirts down?
There is a lot of work.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Can I watch those?
Told you about her friend
These girls
Maddie.
definitely know that. Talk about how conservative and how.
Maddie's. We had been hearing about Maddie, her new friend that she met at her new junior high and whatnot, which was at the school they met at. And but for Maddie to come over, her mom wanted the whole phone call and whatnot, and I wanted to meet them in person and all that. And I was very much so a little bit like, I don't know, I was just very like, sure, you can go. I mean, maybe a quick phone call, but I mean, she wanted it. Like her mom wanted to meet us. Her dad wanted to meet us in person and be like, come into the house. And we were like, she wants to come into the house. Oh my God! Yeah. Oh, they want to like have a sit down just for their kid to come over for a couple hours. She's not even staying the night. It took forever. She used to come over after school all the time, but every time they would walk her in, they would say, "How's it going?" Hello, this and that. Her dad would, or they would call, and then they finally started getting to the calls. I'm like, well, we're getting a little better now. We just get the call like somebody's going to be there the whole time, right? 3 hours, you're going to be there,
baby.
and Maddie just fit right in with us. I mean, she just absolutely
yeah. That was it. School started in August, and it was September that Maddie started coming over, and that was it.
Like spend the night
all the time, and then it got to where she just would spend the night. Kaylee would spend the night over there. I mean, it didn't matter if it was a school night or not.
About her coming up to Goncalves, and you're like, she's been hanging out here all year long. But it was that overnight trip,
going out of town.
Yeah, and that's where that picture of Kaylee with that burger, that gummy burger,
and Maddie
came from, that first year at Conklin.
Yeah, Maddie, and she was, the thing with Maddie was she was kind to the little sisters. We had two, and they loved her so much, and she would play with them. Like not a lot of your older friends, because they're pretty, they were like, they're brats, but she really embraced Autumn and Aubrey and Olivia. Olivia loved her, and she just and Steven. She was kind of Steven,
right
and
into the family.
Yeah, they were totally like yin and yang, where they were such opposites of each other, but it just worked so well together. Where it was like, half of the, like, they almost like became to us like two halves to a whole, where it was like, yes, Kaylee is my sister and Maddie is my sister, but like, it's Kaylee and Maddie. Like, as strange as that sounds.
It was
one had no patience, the other one had all the patience.
They would balance each other in just like
every
the
vacation
most
we went on.
beautiful way.
We wound up Karen wound up letting us take Maddie out of the country. We took her to Belize and we took her to Cozumel and we went to Grand Cayman Islands and Maddie was with us. Karen took the girls to Hawaii on a girls trip.
Swears that was the best trip she's ever been on.
We're like, we've been here, and here, but
she said Hawaii and Maui specifically.
She's at stateside, so you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's so disappointing that you're right.
With Maddie and they just
some of the best memories of her life.
They had other friends, they were in a group of bigger friends, but it was always Kaylee and Maddie, always. There was a couple other friends.
It was like this ebb and flow where it was like, they were always together, but like there was always room for others because they really were sisters. It wasn't like this competition between them of this best friend slot. Like that was always a given, and they really were just kind of combined, I guess, in a way that was more complex than a friendship. Yeah. So it was like you'll see a lot of pictures of Kaylee with other people or Maddie, or I've seen a lot of people say, "Well, how close could they be if they're in different sororities?" And that was just hard.
That was hard for them.
It was
because they both went and rushed to get into the AV house, and Kaylee got in and Maddie did not, and she wound up in pilot fight. But it was really good. It was so good for them because they really did live their lives a little bit separately for those couple of years. Even though the houses were right around the corner for each other, there was a lot of devotion that you had to put within those houses, within those groups of girls and stuff. So Maddie made a ton of new friends, and Kaylee made a ton of new friends, and I mean they still spoke a lot, but
came home every time together. They would drive back together, like
vacations were together,
sisters. Where it's like
Mexico and stuff, and
how it was,
And then Kaylee moved in with Maddie. They moved out of their sorority houses a couple of years ago. And Maddie moved into that house, and Kaylee had moved into an apartment. And then last June, Kaylee moved in to Maddie's house.
A lot of people, I think, don't realize, but Kaylee was just about to graduate.
Kaylee did graduate.
She was fully graduated.
It wasn't a fake.
She was done.
She was done.
Yeah, it wasn't given posthumously. She earned that.
Yeah,
she earned it, and that was really frustrating for us because it's almost like she knew she only had a certain amount of time on this planet, and she was rushing through it as fast as possible.
She always did summer school and whatnot, so she just told me, a few weeks before that she was going to be graduating in December, and she was telling me, she goes, I don't know if I'm going to walk though. I just might just get my degree, and I'm like, well, let us know, because we'll be down
I was
there.
proud of her to be like, I don't need the attention of walking.
And then
I've earned it, and I've earned it fast, and I'm ready to just move on with my life. And I was like, that's how we look at life, It's not about the celebration; it's about just moving on to the next step. And gosh, she would have been just an amazing citizen for our country. The person that would show everyone, like, you can come from anything and do anything and just work hard and be a success. And that's such a good positive message, and we lost that, and that's really hard for us.
Yeah, and she just bought that Range Rover, and you guys must have been so proud.
2 days before.
I wanted her to buy something
bought it
more
already.
reliable.
Yeah, I wanted
As a dad, I was like, no.
She was looking at a few cars, and I said, get the Mercedes, get the Subaru. I said, but do not get that Range Rover, Kaylee. She goes, I know, Olivia, but the name. And I said, it's going to be nothing but problems for you. I tried to talk her out of it. And then my mom actually wanted to call me. She goes, she bought the Range Rover. And I was like, oh, well, I'm proud of her. I was like, I'm just going to bite my tongue. I'm proud of her.
She did it all on her own. And she called Maddie. It was really funny. She goes, Mom, I just called Maddie. And she had been like back and forth for days. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. She goes, I asked Maddie, so which one do you think I bought? And Maddie said, I don't know, Kaylee, probably a Ferrari at this point. And she goes, so she has no idea. And she goes, I'm just going to surprise her. She's like, she's literally going to, and I'm like, she's going to be surprised. It's nice. It is really nice.
But she worked for everything, right? Like she had her full-time job. It was technically an internship, but it was paid. I helped her negotiate a better rate on it. And
You're
then,
a family. It's
yeah,
always been a family.
she got a full-time position with that company as well. I helped her write her email to her boss. I still have it in my notes on my phone. Where I said, "Hi, Jeremiah." I said, "Hey, Jeremiah, I'd like to talk to you." But so proud of her, and like she always did that. Like even as a kid, even with Claire, she always worked for it. She never had anything handed to her, anything like that. She always had the support of her family. But
she called me and was like, "Dad, do I sound stupid in this proposal?" And I'm like, "Well, pitch it to me, girl." And she's like, "All right, so I'm going to say this and this and this." And then we just go back and forth. And I'd be like, "All right, this is how you say this acronym. And this is how you say this." And she literally looked for everyone to help her because she was smart enough to understand that my hustle will work, but I still need the knowledge of all the people around me. And I think that was the part that made me think, like, I never worried about her.
Never.
I always just like, dude, she's just gonna.
I never worried about Kaylee.
No.
She called us frequently. We called her. When we called, she answered. She kept in touch with us. She made, good choices, positive choices.
And she learned from the mistakes of others. Like I was the older sister and like made a lot of mistakes, and Kaylee was the one to really like sit down and be like, "Okay, you messed up here, Olivia. Like, can you tell me why you did this? Like, walk me through your thought process so I don't make that same mistake." And it just made me really proud of her to like not have her only like learn from her own mistakes and like make her own good decisions, but to be able to like look at those around her and, with love in her heart too, to be like, help me be better, because, she knew that's what we all wanted.
And you guys touched on something. I think we touched on it earlier at lunch. Going back to the night of the 12th, November 12th, and I think you hit, and I didn't even think of that perspective, but they did everything right.
Yeah.
And we discussed that. The buddy system. Explain all the things that they did.
Yeah, they Ubered out together. They only went to known locations that they had been before.
Private driver.
They had a private driver. I apologize. It was a private driver that they had actually used before, so they knew him. They had a relationship with this individual.
We knew him as a family member, and he really helped us.
Yeah.
He turned us on to the food truck stuff.
Yeah.
He's a great person.
Good people. And then we only went to like known locations with known people, traveled only together on well-lit, known streets to get food before taking a private ride from the same individual who would pick them up home to go eat after a night of drinking, being 21, Ubering out, Ubering home with your friend.
They were totally chaperoned.
And then going to bed.
They were doing everything the way that you tell your kid to go. Don't be two girls all by yourself. Have somebody there that can walk with you. Everything was perfect. Everything was good.
Yeah.
All the way up to where they went to bed and went to sleep.
Yeah.
And that I can't control. As a family, we can't control what happens when you go to sleep.
Yeah.
When you go to sleep, that's us as society. We have to determine, are we going to let these people be out here that can do whatever they did, sneak into a house, whatever it was? Are we going to allow that to be normal? Are we going to allow that to be okay?
Yeah.
Because we all go to bed at night.
Yeah. What was their flaw? They didn't have a nanny cam in their home. What could they have done to be more safe?
They locked the door perfectly.
Yeah. It's Moscow. I know it's safe.
I wonder about the door because Kaylee was a door locker. She would come here, and so I question that all the time. Like, why wasn't the door locked? Why wasn't the door locked?
Sliders
Maybe it was locked. Maybe Jimmy the door locked.
Sliders are not the greatest.
We don't know.
That thing hooks over, and if you
I can tell you right now, just because I used to do handiwork way back, and I can pop a sliding glass door like that.
Yeah. We had one at our old house.
It'll hit the wall.
A ton of times.
But that's not what society's built on. We don't say, "Oh, well, you didn't lock the door, so you deserve to die in your sleep."
Right.
Yeah.
You don't do that. We have to make a society where these people show red flags, we identify them, we address them, and then we remove them from hurting other people. That's how it should.
So I've got a few other questions, and this is going to probably be a little more intense because I want to know about the day of the 13th, receiving that call. How did you learn of this and how did you feel? I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I can only imagine how you guys felt, but just for the audience.
Well, we were, it was Sunday around
We were watching football.
1-ish, and we were
Like
watching
every
football.
family, or a lot of families on Sunday.
And
we were watching
our
football.
son was here. Everybody was home except for she was down at her home in LA.
We gather.
And my niece called me and she was freaking out. And she said, Christy, have you talked to Kaylee? And I said, yesterday, like last night. And she said, something bad happened to Kaylee. Something bad happened. And she was just bawling. And I said, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And she said, I think Kaylee's dead. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she
all
said,
our stomachs just dropped.
She said there was somebody just called me and they live down there. And she said there was a party last night and somebody went in and shot the party up and Kaylee was shot. I was like, what? And I just threw my phone. I started screaming. I started telling everybody to call Olivia and to get all her roommates on the phone. And I started calling Maddie, and Maddie wouldn't answer, And I said, no, this can't be, because Maddie would have called me. If Kaylee was shot last night at a party, Maddie or Jack would have called me. Like, no. And I called Kaylee and went straight to voicemail. I was calling Maddie, I was calling Jack, it was ringing. I turned on the TV and I saw it said 1122 King Road. Kaylee's car was in the driveway, Maddie's car was in the driveway, but it was saying an unconscious person. And we're saying, okay, maybe this isn't maybe something happened. So Steve starts calling the police. Steven, our son, started to call in the hospital, and he started calling the PD and saying, my name is Goncalves, and we heard that my daughter Kaylee Goncalves was killed in an accident, and they said, we can't give you any more information, we'll call you back. Well, next thing you know, some more phones started ringing. Our daughters came running down, 16 and 17 years old, came and said, Mom, somebody just called me and said that Kaylee's dead. And we're like, what? Like, who was it? And she's like, I don't know. It's somebody that they're there and Kaylee's dead. And we were like, oh my God, like this can't be, and it's just very, very, very dramatic.
These protocols have to be updated.
Yeah.
These protocols of somebody showing up at your door 10 hours later is ridiculous.
Because we had hours of panic before the sheriff
It was
department.
terrible.
It was about 4:30, and
I don't blame anyone.
So you guys, they never called you. You guys found this out from family members that were in the area, and you guys didn't get notified. You actually reached out to them, and you guys still didn't get notified.
He wound up calling them twice.
And I did. Their protocols are all about maybe they'll commit suicide or something, but they have to be updated because social media moves so fast, so quick. That's why we are using social media. I'm not using the most common channels.
We called Karen and we asked Karen if she had heard anything, and she goes, yes, I was told that I need to get down here, that there was an accident.
Ours was good. We
thought maybe Maddie was the unconscious person, and we had already been told by several people, like 100% Kaylee was dead. And we were like, they're bawling, and they're like,
Maddie was just unconscious.
And then we're like, but Karen got a call saying to come down there. We haven't got a call.
That was a good sign.
So we're like, well.
And I kept giving them hope. I kept saying, if it happened last night, you guys would know by now. I kept giving them hope. I said, they just released an article that the roommates are being questioned right now. They probably took their phones, Mom. Like, I just kept giving them hope because I live in Los Angeles. I wasn't here. And that's all I could do. But it's just this feeling in your gut that I sat with.
I knew as soon as my niece, as soon as Brenda called, I knew that it was real.
Yeah.
And she was freaking out.
And then cops showed up around 4:30.
Yeah, the sheriff came around 4:30, and then he told us that there were 4 victims, and we said, "Is one of them Maddie and Logan?" And he told us yes. And then we realized that it was Kaylee and Maddie.
We still knew she was going down there. I couldn't tell them.
Yeah, Karen was still on her way, and
still driving.
And then she got down there, and she got there about 20 minutes after we got the news. And
I was just hoping it was wrong.
Has and I don't want you to go into anything that you're not allowed to say, just make sure that, but has any of her friends reached out to you guys? I don't want to go into details or anything, but has any friends reached out to you guys, provided you guys any information that might be able to help you? Nothing.
Yeah, not any friends in regards to the case or anything. We have had, some really nice people reach out who are going with Kaylee on her trip to Europe. And they're able to, say this was their travel ID number. So we've
stories
had
and testimonies,
testimonies, memories, all of that. But as far as anyone who is
close to the case,
close to the case, or knew
before
anything.
the cops contacted us, we did hear more information there. than we've heard in weeks.
Yeah.
You know, people saying, "Hey, I'm sitting outside the crime scene right now." They didn't call it a crime scene. I'm sitting outside the house right now, and this is what's going on. Literally, their protocols are so old-fashioned that you're having people saying, "I'm watching them walk into the house." And it's laying out before your eyes before you even know what's going on. So you're just like, no, there'd be somebody at my door. This can't be real. But they're literally telling you.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah. And I want to touch a little bit on Jack, her boyfriend, because he's come under great scrutiny. People have been very unkind to him. You know in your heart he had nothing to do with this.
More than, I mean, even just logically, I think that a lot of people assume we're blinded by this individual, but contrary to that, we're very capable of removing our emotions for Jack, which is absolute love, and just looking at the situation logically, looking at this individual in front of us, looking at a pattern of behaviors of him that we've seen throughout 5-6 years. So emotionally, and in our hearts, and in our heads, and in every sense of the word, it's
Physics.
not. Yes.
We did a job
Thorough.
vetting him that I feel like surpasses.
We didn't. I mean, I just.
If you guys would like to elaborate on that, you may. If you don't, then that's okay. But
I asked, as much as I loved him and everything like that, I'm like, can you please show me? And he was just like, oh my gosh, yes. And he's like, in his arms and
Nobody
this.
knows what you're talking about right now.
I asked him to, did he have any scratches? Did he have any bruises?
I have the photos of Jack. I've cleared him in my family. He's good with us.
No, I checked his shoes.
Yeah.
I checked his car. I checked his hands.
I took photos.
I checked his neck. Yeah. He came over in shorts.
Yeah.
Within hours.
Yeah. I know it sounds weird that we asked him to show us his arms and stuff if we trusted him so much, but I mean, I think that
people. I think people would look at you negatively if that wasn't your reaction.
And I said, and I looked him in his eyes, and he was crying, and I was crying. And I said, I'm so sorry that I have to ask you, but can you please?
Yeah.
And he was just like,
nobody's sticking up for me.
Lifted up his
we
shirt.
were sticking up for him.
And I said, okay.
We're not blindly stupid parents.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry when your child.
Yeah.
Makes her eyes.
And it did not make me feel good either. But I mean, I was just like.
But when people are like, how do you stick up for him blindly? We're not blind.
No.
We have
and we know that
done
kid's
our
heart.
due diligence. We
know his family.
He's been around my babies when my babies were born. He would watch them for me so that I could go to the grocery store by myself.
Right. He had nothing but love for Kaylee and Maddie.
The thing that got me is I love that woman. I've been married 27 years, but I've lost my cool. I've said things I shouldn't say. My daughter broke up with him, and within a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, she had an interaction with a date. He said, call me a bitch. And she was like, I've been with one boy my whole life.
And I said, he's never called you. And she's like, never. And I said, really? And she goes, never. And he said, bitch, you could go make me a quesadilla. And she said, what did you say? And she said, I'm leaving. And she goes, and I left. And I went home like, oh, Jack.
And she's like, I might not ever find another Jack.
And I'm like, you might not. And I said, honestly.
We would always tell her that, yeah.
But she's like, she knows I'm a flawed guy, but we're still married 27 years, had 5 kids with a happy life. She's like, your dad's definitely called me some names.
I think it happens in any relationship.
But I mean,
But he goes from that
to drive you up the wall once you love them outside.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, she said that, and I was just like, she's like, never.
Yeah.
Never. And I was
We're
just
supposed to believe he just takes out 4 on his way to. It just seems like a
over what custody of the dog? Like there's just
Kaylee was leaving.
He was looking for every excuse for him to pick the phone up.
Yes.
To read those texts. Like,
She
I will
wanted
leave
him to
tonight
know.
with the dog if you don't pick up. That type of thing.
Oh, so, yeah. And they even when they broke up, they still communicated.
Yes, every day, all the time.
Like
the whole time she was
that
home.
bar scene,
it was just.
They were around him, not
were
this Jack Sowalker over here in the corner. No, she was around her ex, you know, and to me, that's comfort level, that's body language, this is the person that I'm comfortable in.
And you could see in that photo that there wasn't problems there. I mean, he was smiling. They looked like, they look like you couldn't see their faces, but their back body language didn't appear to have any kind of.
No, there was no. And we talked to him about the conversation that night. We talked to the other guy about the conversation that went on that night, and they both, they were just like, hey, what's been up? Boy, how you been doing? What's been going on? And she was trying to talk him into going to another bar down the street or something like that. And he's like, I worked all day. I'm tired. I'm going home. And he left and went home. And, we think things could have been different.
We questioned the time in that video. We're not sure if it's accurate. So people might look at that and take it to, based off of the records that we have, there could definitely be some questions on the timing of that.
People are that photo that surfaced from the corner.
We're just clueless, stupid parents that just don't even know that. Oh, our daughter's too lied to us. They could lie to us.
And he was happy for Kaylee.
Yeah.
Whether they were, I think they were close to getting back together. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were. Whether she was moving without him or not, he had nothing but love.
We went and investigated Adam. What did you tell Adam? We went through that whole thing. Adam is about her trying to get back with Jack.
Day
one, they're roommates.
Day one of this all happening, Jack was right there in the trenches with me, reaching out to people Kaylee had called. Who's
spent the first 3 nights here on our couch after he came. He could not leave us.
Right. For sure. But I will just say, I can't verify the timestamp there, but I know for a fact that after they left the corner club, they walked to the grub truck. It's about an 8-minute walk, so we need to factor that in. And then they ordered food. They were at the grub truck for about 10 minutes, and they didn't leave the grub truck until the Uber driver had arrived at 1:49.
And those cameras
so if you work
suggest,
backwards, that timestamp doesn't match up.
That would suggest.
I don't know. I'm not going to say it's completely false or anything, or how false it is. I don't know. But I'm saying from the timeline that I know for a fact, working it backwards doesn't match that timestamp.
Gotcha.
And it had just been daylight savings, so maybe they hadn't updated their cameras or something.
We are not going to go to bed and wait for other people to resolve a family problem. Yeah. This is a family problem. And
this isn't just
both those girls are our girls, and we are not, I'm not handing over. I thought about it. I thought, like, here, just take care of my family and make sure that you find the right guy. And I eventually got to a point and said, you know what? My family, we're all G's. We call ourselves G's because nobody can pronounce our name. We are not going to sit here and let somebody else do a job that we can't add value to.
You guys have added value. I mean, you, Olivia, found a Twitch video that actually solidified the timeline.
And then to be able to, say for a fact they were home at 1:56. It took law enforcement a little over a week.
Even after you told them several times, because I didn't even know you guys, but I was watching every interview you guys gave.
We watched the ring video that showed them pulling up, and we're like, that's them. It's 1:56. That's what time they got home. And there's the cart leaving, and
So we're working.
And I have my phone. Kaylee's phone is my phone, so we saw all the calls that she had made, and we just with an exact time. And
I reached out to every person she called. I had them send screenshots of the communications that had happened on that day, of texts with my sister, of the call with my sister. How long was your phone conversation with her? Just to do whatever I could in those first few hours, because unfortunately, by the time we even found out, they've been gone for more than 12 hours.
What America needs to know is you can be a victim all the way up to the point where you just hand it all off. Or you can say, you know what? We have a moment in time to make an impact, do our due diligence, listen to what people are saying, write down notes, and you can be a part of solving it and work on it. Anyone who thinks that one officer or one department can do this alone for people, they're crazy.
Yeah.
This takes the whole community. This takes all of us to solve. We can't put this on one man, one officer, one police person, one deputy, one sheriff. We have to all come together and say, you know what, this is on us. Are we going to let these
As a
people
community.
exist and go undetected? Or are we all going to come together and say, this is enough? We are going to stomp this guy out of our community. And I'm telling you right now, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
You're going to get stomped out.
I feel like America is behind us on this one. I mean, it started with, you know, the community, and then Idaho, and then United States. And I mean, it is just insane. I mean, I have people from Amsterdam.
Yeah, I was going to say it's worldwide now
It's
because I've got
worldwide.
people that
I
are
mean,
my
it is
chats
world-
and all
Finland.
over.
Little countries in Asia and
It's
Africa.
like
It's
when
insane.
The only role that we can play is to keep this hot, then that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to sit there and say, I have the tech that the FBI does. I'm not going to say I'm smarter than these people or anything like that. But I'm saying our role as a family is it's ebbing, it's flowing, it's molding. It's this one day, it's this another day. And we are there for whatever that is. But it's never going to be for us to sit back and do
Go to
just
sleep.
nothing.
Go to
You know,
sleep.
if it's pushing, if it's letting off the gas, if it's, you know, going down to Moscow, going door to door, asking for cameras, asking for testimony, whatever it is, we're not going to stop. And we've said that from the beginning.
Greg Little got involved because
Brad
Brad Little was literally involved because he had a touch point with this family. He had met Kaylee. So this is a small community, and we're not gonna let this become normal. We're not gonna let this become normal.
No, you don't go to sleep at night and somebody sneaks in your house.
You don't go to sleep at night not knowing at the end of the day you did absolutely everything you could have that day. To just your own capabilities. You know, I'm not saying go out there and you do a bunch of crazy shit. I'm not saying that.
Or yell at other people that they didn't do it.
Right.
You're
But
doing it
to
yourself.
do whatever you can yourself so that you can go to bed at night saying, Kaylee and Maddie, I still got you.
Still gotta sleep, but
I still got you. Sometimes it's media, sometimes it's
Because
not.
they don't have a voice anymore.
They don't. But it doesn't mean that it stops where it
It's the
stopped.
new way to find justice. I was looking at Kaylee's footprint on the internet. I'm an IT guy, and I noticed that she had followed some crime type investigators. They were already working together for other people's story, but maybe this can help resolve her own story, which is just terrible that this happened to her. But that was the daughter I had. She wanted to help other families find this justice.
She always tried to get me to. Like, I'm not a podcast person. I don't listen to. And she'd always tell me, you know, and I'm like, yeah. You know, I just turn on the radio, you know, AM station all the way to work.
And the crazy part about, I think, all of it for us too is that, you know, we never talked to Kaylee about like, how would you have your funeral?
No.
So a lot of these decisions we're making in the dark. I'll say it in my head, you know, like I'll have a text from her that says, I love oranges, you know, and this is Kaylee approved. It wasn't that we didn't know her, it's that there's so many questions and answers you have to answer for at the end that you just don't realize. For us to do right by Kaylee, that's all that matters. If we felt doing right by Kaylee was, you know, to lay down and take this, we would do that.
Or just
but that's not her.
viewership or all this stuff that's so important to people. That's not how we raised our family. We didn't care about that. We still don't care about that. So we're trying to just
Make
go
her
by our
proud.
gut feeling in her life, and if that can play a role in solving this crime, then that makes it a lot better. That helps with the process of healing. People tear us apart. We are definitely worried, and they do tear us apart, but it's not.
It doesn't matter.
That's not as important as our daughter's justice.
Exactly.
Our daughter's justice is so much. Like, I might not be employable for 100 years.
I might have blackballed myself as well.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter, you know, because there's just so much.
I have to have justice.
It's so much bigger than us now, you know, and we would give everything for it every day, everything every day for the rest of our lives for it. Because Kaylee would do it for us. Anyone, Maddie would do it for us. You know,
all our children would do it for us. But to know what she went through And to think that I can just pretend like I've done enough.
Yeah.
She went through absolutely a nightmare in our head.
Terror, pure terror.
So then we have to tell ourselves, if we do that kind of effort. And I think that's the new way to figure out how to get through this, because we're finding out there's a lot of cases that are cold.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cases that are cold. People think just shut up and listen. Guess what? There's those parents are calling me right now and saying, don't be quiet.
Yeah.
Don't make the same mistake I made.
Don't let it die.
You need to be vocal. You need to be uncomfortable. You need to take heat. You need to take risk. You might not be employable, but you might get, you could get justice with that. Yeah. And that's what we're willing to do.
And those are other victims' parents that have reached out to you.
Yes, other victims literally saying, I follow the rules. I did everything to a T. Multiple times these parents have came out and said, my case went cold. So I'm thinking, if it goes cold, I'm going to say I gave it my all. I did everything I could.
And we're not trying to say we're not going to follow the rules. We're just saying you need new rules, because obviously the ones that you're using aren't working in every case.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do what's right by us.
Family told us our baby was dead.
Yeah.
6 hours later, they tell us those rules aren't working.
Yeah.
Media goes so fast. So yeah, we're gonna play with a little bit more. I'm an IT guy. We're gonna play with some more new modern rules.
Yeah. We're gonna take every avenue we can.
When we arrived into town, our first trip here, they were actually removing the cars from the home. Have you guys got her personal property back?
Yes, our attorney,
Yes,
so there's a break the chain of command, has kept her stuff, chain of custody.
Yeah, chain of custody.
And he also has her car. He just got that a couple days ago. And we will be getting the car, but we're keeping her possessions with him right now.
You know what I care about? I've already lost the opportunity to protect my kid.
Our stance that we can't talk about is that we hope and we pray that they are doing absolutely everything. We want to believe that they are, absolutely. And we feel it's our job to flag these for things to be better going forward. You know, the people that have the right resources, the people that have the right experience. The people that have the right leadership. Whoever that is. Because like everyone else sitting back, you always think you can do the job better. It's not always the case.
Or just drives down the road and she's like, I'm getting this weird vibe, somebody's following me. And then in the camera in the background, there's a white Honda.
That guy though.
And at the end of the day, this was our process. This is what we were doing to cope, to survive, to help. And you guys wouldn't give us any other direction.
Yeah, I can't go to sleep at night
So-
unless I have a process. And
Right.
It's like you got a family of workaholics dedicated more than anyone else. And I know the two investigating officers that are working on this case looked us in the eye and gave us the best feeling ever that they were so dedicated and they were doing everything in their power. And I feel like they were telling me the truth. And these guys, I could see it in their eyes. They can only do so much. There's two guys, you know, and I got a whole family of smart people that are highly motivated and trying to work. That's why I say we're collaborating. This is the new way of doing it. You don't just sit back and say, two guys, it's all on them. It's all on them. Just sit back and in I don't know, month 6, we decide, all right, they need help. No, we're gonna do it right away.
What would you say to other parents that may have something like this in the future? What would be your number one tip or piece of advice that you would share with those parents?
We almost tried to put together an organization just for this, because after we went through it, you learn how much you don't know, and we are self-motivated and highly, you know, engaged people. So we were trying to think about like what, it's almost like you need a pamphlet to say, hey, this is what's going to happen.
I would say,
don't be quiet.
Don't be quiet if you have the ability to not be. And most importantly, above all of that, you have to do right by your loved one.
Mm.
Whatever that means. And that's different for everyone.
Interview me.
Yeah.
Nobody knows your child more than you. And every officer should look at you and say, tell me what your child's life looked like. How did she wake up? What time did she sleep in bed all day?
Yeah.
Did she wake up?
What did she
coffee?
normally wear to bed? You know, was she wearing something different?
All
crazy?
pertinent.
You know, so yeah, I would just say you just have to do what's right by them. And if that's, you know, they would want you to just move on and let them, that's absolutely fine. And if they would want you to stay up every day,
Kaylee would
grinding,
not.
you know,
she'd be like, you all better be hitting the streets and finding this person for me and Maddie.
Right.
Autumn, where are you? Autumn, where are you?
You know, and I wish that we had just had
Take Murphy with you.
a stronger hand guiding us through that and, you know, helping us to say, this is someone to talk to. This isn't someone, just so you know, that interview, people might say this afterwards, you know, because I feel like we just felt like we'd been hit by a truck and then it just kept coming back. Because we just kept trying.
But no, every time you talk, you will take more heat. They'll have less patience for you. So you have to be prepared for that mentally, because I don't want to give somebody advice that is actually very hard.
People are going to
Oh,
say,
the
why
way she said that, or did she smiled when she said that, or did you see the way they looked at each other when they said?
Yeah, you will become a internet sleuth suspect, whether you lived 1,200 miles away like I did or not, and it hurts. And so you have to either just completely ignore it or not look at it, or get some thick skin fast.
I just don't even look at it. I did for the first week or so, and it just absolutely consumed me. And a good friend said, get off of it. Just get off of it. And I said, you're right. And I was in all the little forums on Facebook, and I just unadded myself. And I told her, I said, I can't see people chew up my daughter, and chew him up, and chew me up.
And I'm in every group I can be. I monitor every post, every comment.
She's my hero. I tell her all the time.
What if he slips up there? What if he's in one of those groups? What if he says something that's a little too close that gives me a bad feeling?
That's why
it's a long shot, but it's what I can do. I can take that time. I can read those posts. I'm physically capable of doing that, so I will.
One thing I would give to another father, if you have a role in that family, that you are the guy that's taken a leadership role in that family, and you've always been there. We've been married for 27 years. I would suggest that you don't underestimate yourself. Don't let yourself be so small that you're scared to question the police officers and say, why didn't you ask me about these things? You need to engage them. You need to be aggressive. You need to go in there and say, you know what? I know about that dog. I know about her favorite shirt, her favorite dress, her favorite shoes. It might seem stupid, but as a father, I know my girl. And I think that information, even if 80% of it is invaluable, 90% something there, could tell those officers if your daughter was behaving in a suspicious way, like she felt uncomfortable, or if she was totally in a comfort zone. And we can see it. We see the video. We're like, oh, she's totally comfortable. Mm-hmm. But the world looks at it and they turn it into like, she's super uncomfortable. So
why did she say carbonara like that?
Guys, I just want to thank you for this. I have to tell you, just here, it's hard. I can't imagine what you're going through. It's hard on me listening to some of the stuff that's going on, but God bless you guys for everything that you guys are going through. And it was an honor coming here and listening to her life and her story. And I just want to thank you.
Well, thanks for making content, Kaylee.
Thank you guys for coming all the way out here.
So what did you guys think about that? That was a hard interview. I have to be honest with you. Many of you don't know because you couldn't see me. I saw some trolls in here, by the way. I see you. Keep being jealous. But we were there, and the way everything was set up, I could have edited Olivia's head out if I so chose. It's a very easy process. You just go in there and just stretch it out ever so slightly, and it'll do it all across it. You don't really have to do a whole lot with it. If you know a lot about my style, I try to keep it as raw as much as possible, so you guys get to see what really happened. I take some things out of it that, people getting up or stuff like that. So you do see some cuts or a moment when Steve's there and then he's just walking back in, right? Because it's just no point in, seeing all that. But the focus of that, and I'm so happy, and it's why I chose to play it today, is because it just shows you the love that they had. We made sure that when we had an opportunity to interview them, while we saw everybody else, the news nations, the Fox News, the CNNs, always wanting to get the newest, latest, and greatest behind the scenes information. And I think it just kind of lost the victims. And while we didn't talk too much about Xana Kernodle or Ethan Chapin in that, it's because I don't know if they were the right people to be asking about them. You know what I mean? I don't know how offended that may have made any of the families had I been asking another family about their child. So in an effort just to, learn about at least the two that family knew, was really an honor and a blessing. It really showed me, how special, at least for these two girls. And I know without a doubt that all four of them, even though I haven't had the opportunity to intimately get to know the other two as I did Maddie and Kaylee, I will tell you that Kaylee and Maddie's bond was something special. Many don't know that Christy actually gave me, I was getting a whole bunch of bands, I was getting all of them all the way up my arm. And for the last, about 9 months or so, I just got them down to the 3. And so it's Gabby and these were the sayings. It's a forever thing, and life without you would be so boring. Those are the wristbands, and I literally wear them everywhere. Even like it's going to be Christmas and Christmas holidays. You're going to see me in bedazzled dresses and these funny little gel bracelets on, right? So it's just we got to know them. We got to know their family, and the fight in the Goncalves family is just it. If we had families like their family, this world would be a lot better place. That's all I can say. If we had more people, if you heard how proud Steve was in that interview about how he gathers and how his family, you can see his pride in his family, the love that Steve and Christy have for their family. It's family time all the time. That's the kind of family that they are. And their daughter was a beautiful soul. And if you noticed, the one thing I can say, this is kind of behind the scenes stuff that many people don't hear or anything like that, is, when he talks about Maddie and Kaylee, about how one of them's really high strung and one of them is as patient as everything, Olivia and I have that type of relationship. So, we bonded so much with Kaylee and Maddie's story that I can't express it. When they were talking about their friendship, when they were talking about them, there was times that tears were just going down my face. I don't know how Christy and Olivia and Steve could keep their composure, because it was hard for me to keep mine. It truly was hard for me to even keep mine. I remember apologizing to them when I was leaving. I'm like, I know this is unprofessional because I couldn't help it. And what really broke me, and I got to say, at that point, I had to walk out of the house, was when the interview was over and we were just sitting there talking to Christy, and she was just showing us some of Kaylee's childhood, photos, and, just telling us about her history. And there's these two boxes, these tall, I don't know if you guys can see that. They're like, this, and they're sitting up on like right where that couch was that you saw us giving an interview, and you see Olivia's head. Well, I'm on the other side of her toward the window. And right behind me is like a TV stand type thing. It's and then on top of that, they didn't have the urns. And it was when she said, yeah, they're here with us right now, and she pointed up to them, and I didn't get it for a second, and then it just clicked. It's like, that's them. And that was the moment that I had to excuse myself from their house, because I'm thinking, all those memories that they were sharing with us. All those memories. That all those memories that they were sharing with us came down to two boxes. Sorry, it's hard. I never met them. And it's hard, I'm a normal person, and that interview, I have to say, was pretty stinking hard. But how beautiful it was to know that those girls were watching over us while we were giving that interview. Because I got to tell you, we had a lot of questions on our list. And we bounced around back and forth what questions were important. And we put the questions that we thought were important. And then when we got there, it's like, we knew what it needed to be about. We knew exactly what that interview needed to be about. And I can tell you about 20 questions at the very top came immediately off our list. And I never realized, we were just curious, true crimers, true crime podcasters, or whatever people want to call us, web sleuths, whatever. We're just eager for information and understanding why, and wanting to tell these people's stories. We never really look at the impact that we can have. A lot of people say, how do we help? And I'm not saying we as me, I'm talking about we as the people that are curious, that want to go out there, that try to do this. We were able to stop a lot of rhetoric for, Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend. Maybe somebody doesn't understand the relief of having somebody on their side fighting for them, but, we did that. We were able to at least let them know that, you do have a decent sized platform where we are fighting for you. We don't believe you did it. And that was solidified by the Goncalves family. I'm just really proud that we didn't give in to a lot of the conspiracy theories out there, because look at this. Look how this all turned out. And I don't know what we can do to honor Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, because they've given so much. I mean, what can we really do? So I thought about it. What can we do today to honor these beautiful souls? And I'm thinking they were so kind and generous and genuine. And you know what I'm going to say? Do an act of kindness for a perfect stranger in their honor today. That would be my request to everybody out there, because they were sweet. And you know what? Somebody might be just having a really bad day today. And that act of kindness might go a long way in their day. You might not be able to help a lot of people today, but you might be able to help that one. So that's the little bit of food for thought that I have here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. I want you guys to have a wonderful day. God bless each and every one of you. Please go make it a great day and honor these kids somehow. They gave a lot for no reason. I want that to be heard. They gave a lot for no reason. God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.